Everyone is super obsessed with the sexy side of data at the moment. You want to chat with your model using AI. You want AI to magically generate all the charts and all the visualizations and all the insights that you could probably have missed. But the truth is, your AI is just as smart as your backend model is. And if your model looks like a spaghetti of tables, you are not getting closer to any meaningful insights. It's like garbage in and garbage out. In this video, I will share with you 4 extremely important data modeling concepts that you must follow to build cleaner and scalable data models in Power BI. You ready? Let's go. Common mistake number 1, not summarizing the rows, especially of your fact table. The one question that you should be asking yourself over and over again when you especially load the fact tables in your Power BI models is that, do you actually need all the rows of your sales data? Of course, you need the rows, but do you need all the granularity of the fact table in your sales data or not? Let me just show that to you with an example. So if you take a look at on my screen, I've got a fact sales table right here. And if I just maybe scroll down and take a look at the number of rows of this table, there are about 2.2 million rows in the data. Now, obviously, to be able to do any calculation, you obviously need all the rows. But guess what? A lot of times, 99% of the times, you don't need all the rows. What do I mean by that? Let's just say that the analysis that I want to present to my management and all the charts and all the dashboards that I will prepare is going to be at the month level, at the product level, and then aggregations of quantity and amount and things like that. Now, if a particular month is made up of 40, 50 transactions, then I can just total up all of that transactions and I don't really need to have the 50 rows of data. Let me actually show that to you, that how much compression can you get by actually aggregating the data and how much scalability can you build in the model. Let's take a look at the query view. So we're going to go over to the query view right here. And on this fact table, let's just write a query to compress the number of rows. So I'm obviously going to start with an evaluate statement. And then I will say, hey, evaluate my entire sales table. I click on run and the entire sales table gets evaluated. And these are about 2 million rows of data. That is what you can see right here. But I don't need the entire 2.2 million rows of data. I need an aggregated number. The aggregation that I want on this particular table is by the month, and I've already made a column just to help you understand. So this is the month and the year column. So by the month, by the product, and perhaps I would want to have the total of the quantity and the total of the amount. And that's pretty much it. That's what I need. So let's just go ahead and start to summarize the data. So I'll say summarize. In the first part of summarize, you write the table name. Then I say that I want to group it by the month year, which is my column that I have created. So month year column. Then it says, hey, what's the next column that you'd like to summarize it by? And that is going to be my product key. So sales. And then product key, that's my second column. And after that, I'm going to say that, hey, I want to have total of the quantity and total of the amount. So I'm just going to maybe add a column called QTY as quantity. And that is going to be the sum of the quantity column. And then the next column that I would like to add apart from quantity is the total of the amount. And that's the amount goes in right there. And then I will just write the sum function to total the amount column right here. Close the bracket, press enter, and let's just run this particular query. Now note that when we started working with the sales table, we had about 2.2 million rows of data. And if this is the data that we technically need, we would get how many rows of data? If I click on run of the query, I am now seeing only 49,000 rows of data. Still complete in the sense of analysis that I want to do, but highly compressed because now I have aggregated the number of rows. At the moment, I have written the query using the DAX, but obviously when you get the data either from SQL or from Power Query, you have the group by option in Power Query to be able to compress the data. I've done a video on the past on using interesting group by techniques. In case you haven't heard of group by or you haven't heard of the advanced techniques that you can use in group by function, I'll highly recommend that you please go take a look at that video as well. But please, from here on forward, do consider summarizing your fact tables. You genuinely don't need all the rows of the data. The second most common mistake is not actively deciding how to reduce the number of tables in your model. Take a look at the model that I'm working with. So obviously we have the sales, and the sales has the product key, which is obviously going to be connected to the products table using the product key column. But there happens to be another table, which is the product description table, which is again connected to the products key right here. Now, what's going on? So if you actually take a look at the relationship, the product key right here and the product key right here is connected through a 1-to-1 relationship. That means you have the unique here and you have the unique here, and that has been linked to the product description. Perhaps you wanted product description description, which is right here, that inherently did not come in the table that you first loaded. So you built another table to get the product description against the sales that you have made, and that caused another table to be loaded, which is fine, by the way. But generally speaking, you don't need one-to-one relationships. If you have a unique right here, if you have a unique right here, there is no point of having this particular relationship. The best thing to do, in case there are not other complications in your model and you genuinely need this table for any other purpose, you should definitely consider merging the one-to-one relationships, especially in your dimension tables. It makes no sense having two unique tables loaded in the model. So now, if you were to do that, applying a merge in Power Query, of course, you would have one single product table with all the columns of the products table and the columns of the product description table all loaded that in a single table, and that would then connect to the sales table. I'm sure that you know how to apply a merge in Power Query. If you haven't applied a merge or a VLOOKUP in Power Query, I'm going to link another video and you should definitely take a look at that as well. But please do consider applying merges to one-on-one relationships in dimension tables in Power Query. Another very common mistake that I have seen people doing while not considering actively reducing your fact tables is having multiple fact tables of the same kind of data. Consider this. At the moment, we have the sales data, which is 2 years of data coming from a single source of an Access database. But if you had an CSV file, perhaps 2 or 3 files that gave 2 or 3 years of sales data, then I have seen a lot of people applying, let's say, multiple sales table in their data model. So this is going to be sales for, let's say, 2021, and then you will have sales for 2022, and you will have multiple tables like that. This actually makes the model unscalable because every single time a new data is added, you will have to get that table inside of your model, again build all the relationships, again build all the measures, and the model is not sustainable that way. Now, this is going to be extremely worse if these tables were at the level of the month or the level of the day. That means you have to make the changes in the model on an everyday basis. That is super bad. So what you should consider doing is that using Power Query or any other ETL tool to be able to combine the data of all of these fact tables that have a similar kind of data into one single table. I've generally seen people doing this kind of approach where you have multiple fact tables or multiple sales table, is especially when the headers don't quite match. And Power Query does not have the native ability to combine the tables where the headers don't match. I've done a video in case you have inconsistent data of multiple CSV files or Excel files. How do you still combine the data? You should definitely take a look at that. And that is going to help you build a single fact table of all the inconsistent headers of the tables that you have. And your model is definitely going to have lesser tables. It's going to be clean and super fast as well. Mistake number 3, and I've seen this happening a lot of times. People just happen to lift and shift the data and do not consider removing the columns that you do not need in your Power BI reports. If you currently take a look at the raw sales table, 2.2 million rows of data that I have it in the Access database, you're going to see that I literally have a lot of columns: sales key, date, channel key, store key, products key, promotion key, currency key, so on and so forth. And there are a lot of columns. If you have some kind of system, you might have even more number of columns than what I have. It's not necessary that you need all the columns in your Power BI report. A good question to ask is that how do you even decide that which columns do you need and which columns do you not need? A good question to ask is, do I need this column in an aggregation, like sum, count, average, any kind of calculation, or do I need this column in any kind of filter, slicer, or in the chart axis? If the answer to any of these two questions is a yes, then keep that column, otherwise remove the column. Consider Power BI report development as the plate in which you would like to eat or consume your analysis and give it out to stakeholders. It's not the refrigerator or your store to store all the data when you need it. If you need it, it's a dynamic environment. You can get the data then and update your report, but it's not a thing where you have all the columns loaded in a Power BI model and start to work on that. This is going to be completely a disaster from a data modeling perspective. Please reduce the number of columns that you don't need. The last mistake that I see a lot happening, and this is the most important one out of everything that I have discussed so far, is that people not planning the model in advance. They are going to build ad hoc relationships, get the tables inside as and when they want it, but not plan the model in advance. Model planning, when you start building the reports, happen before that. Now, here is how I typically plan my Power BI models. The very first thing that I'm going to do is take a look at the actual data in the raw rawest possible format, be it unstructured data in Excel or CSV or structured data in some kind of database like SQLs, Oracle, or any other database. Once I take a look at the data, I'm going to write down every single KPI or calculation that I would want from that particular data and the filters that I'd like to apply on it. At the moment, I'm not deciding what visuals do I want to build on the data, just listing down all the calculations that I need and all the filters that I would like to apply on that data. Once I have got the logic of the calculations and the filters that I'd like to apply, the next thing that I'm going to do is try to build a star schema as much as possible. Try to have clean dimension tables and the fact tables, even if there are multiple number of times when I have multiple fact tables, and that's all right. But I'll try to build the cleanest possible model as a sketch of the model or the blueprint of the model. Now, obviously that blueprint is not going to match with the actual data. So the gap is bridged by data massaging or the ETL or SQL or Power Query, whatever is the tool of choice. But I will highly recommend, even before you start your development process, your report development process in Power BI, please plan your model, sketch out that how the tables are going to look like, what kind of columns would you have, what kind of granularity would you have, what kind of relationships are you going to build, and how many tables are you going to have in the model. Once you take a look at how the model is looking like, you will thank yourself in the future that you did a bit of planning before you actually got down to building the model. If you don't know how to plan the models in Power BI, this is exactly what I happen to teach in my DAX and data modeling course. We obviously start from scratch, teaching you what is the fact, what is dimension table, how do the relationships work, and carrying that same principle ahead, we go on to more complicated cases and I actively show you how the planning of the model is done and how can you enforce thinking like star schema and shaping the data in a way that adheres to a scalable and much cleaner model. Then we go on to writing DAX and solving more harder and complicated problems. In case you're interested in learning DAX and data modeling in a structured way, I have a course. I'm going to put the link down below. I'll highly recommend that you please take a look at that. All right, that's been it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Cheers.